What's going on, everybody? My name is Caleb Disney, and today I'm trying something new. I don't know what I'm going to call this, like a morning mindset or morning motivation or some shit like that. But well, here's where I'm at. Since moving most of my business online, you know, I have my own deadlines. I don't have anybody telling me what to do, when to do it, and I'm someone who has traditionally thrived on structure. And I'm really bad at creating my own structure, to the point where I'm noticing when I'm starting my day, I'm a slow morning person. It takes me a long time to kind of get up and get acclimated. And it's taking me a long time to feel like I'm sharp enough to really do good work in the mornings. Um, I think a big thing for me is being able to speak, ideally with somebody, but have a conversation. I find that really, for whatever reason, gets my brain kind of lit up and gets me prepared for the day. So what I'm going to try doing is picking a topic in the mornings and monologuing, but recording myself doing it because, I want this to serve some purpose. So obviously just talking and making my brain work and think, um, I think is going to be valuable for me in getting my day started and really waking myself up, and priming myself for a day of thinking, and productivity. But at the same time, I think if I'm going to be spending that energy, verbally speaking, and ideally really diving into topics that I think are important, or at least are important to me, I might as well document it and share it with other people. So hopefully other people get something from this. Worst case, I think at least I'll get something from this. Best case, maybe it'll help you out too. Maybe you'll hear something you need to hear. So with that said, this is what I'm doing. It's a Saturday morning. It's January 7th of 2023. uh I have been spending the last day putting my office together. I have a new desk, so an L desk, so I have a lot more space. I got myself a whiteboard so I can, kind of um, dive into topics a little bit more in depth and show it visually for the people who, like myself, are visual learners. We have this new mic stand thing, which hopefully will really improve the audio of this video. So I'm not hunching over my desk, trying to stay close enough to the mic. We'll find out. This is my first time using it. Also, first time using this new Sony camera as a webcam. So the quality is much better than the Mac webcam I was using. All these things I'm trying to look at them as investments. I don't know if necessarily they're going to be worth it as far as as far as bringing in more money or whatever. But like a lot of people, I think I'm kind of a perfectionist in that I have a hard time getting started on things unless I know I'm going to be doing it quote unquote perfectly. And truthfully, I think this is something that's held me back. And now that I'm saying this out loud, I think that's going to be my topic for the day. So I have made an effort to get started with the whole podcasting thing and filming myself speak. I hate filming myself for whatever reason, especially speaking. But I made an effort to dive in and get started with that, even with quote unquote suboptimal equipment, right? So just using my webcam, just using the speakers in my headphones for a while, and over time, got myself a nicer microphone, and kind of went through the learning curve with that, and got myself a nicer now camera. Um, so that'll be the topic for today. Something that a mentor taught me about a year ago, gosh, a little more than a year ago now, was that, and this is kind of paraphrasing because I kind of combined this idea that he gave me with another idea that I heard some person speak on online, that first to market is usually best, right? And so what that means is it's not going to be perfect right away, but that doesn't mean that there's not more value in just putting stuff out there immediately than waiting for the perfect time. Um, because if I start putting stuff out there, even if I'm not doing the best I could, right? Like I've done 4 interview podcasts now. The first one, The audio quality was terrible. I messed that up. The video quality was terrible. I messed that up. The information I think is good. Um, and so the important thing is I have it out there now. It's been several weeks since then, that I now have this improved setup, right? And so if I were to re-record that podcast, yes, the video and the sound quality would probably be better, at least on my end. But I've already taken the lessons I learned from that first attempt and used that to improve my product for the second podcast, and the third podcast, and the fourth one that I've done. So it was more beneficial for me to just go out and do it, imperfectly as it was, and learn from it, than it would have been to wait until now to try that out. And that's something that I'm finding with a lot of things. Sometimes, if I want to put something out there, if I want to make a reel, right? I hate making reels because I don't know what's trendy. I've always been really bad at reading that kind of stuff. And I don't want to put something out there and feel, I guess, that societal rejection feeling. It's not real, but it kind of feels that way of putting something out there and having it flop, right? Only getting a couple hundred views or whatever. But I've put things out there having no idea what I was doing and gotten, I was looking back today a couple months ago, 35,000 views on a reel that I did, that I just half-assed and didn't put any prep time into. Then I have reels that I've put like several hours into building, trying to make them look really nice and fancy. You can get like 1,000 views or less. So social media is fickle in that way. And so I don't want to now. I still feel the inclination to do this all the time, but I know logically that I should not wait to try to have the perfect video, the perfect idea, the perfect setup, any of these things before I try. And I apply this. I don't do it very well, but I try to apply this same thinking to all these other areas in my life. It's better to try now and to start, as imperfectly as it is, than to keep waiting for the perfect time, to keep waiting for the perfect opportunity. Because this is how people end up sitting on the sidelines of their entire lives. It's New Year's right now. It's the beginning of the first month of the new year, and the gym is packed with, what you assume are New Year's resolutioners. It's probably a combination of factors that bring a lot of people into the gym at this time of year, but the trope is New Year's resolutioners, and the trope in the fitness industry is, why wait until the first of the year, right? And it's the same thing. There is no perfect time to start. So if you were thinking on December 15th that, oh, I'm going to get to it and start on the 1st of January, why wait those 2 weeks? You're not going to be any more prepared at the start. Maybe you think you will be, but you'd be better served starting now, even if, the workouts are not the best, or you don't have as much time to spend in the gym as you will after the start of the new year, whatever. You'd still have more progress by now, today, the 7th of January, if you had started on December 15th instead of waiting for the 1st, right? You'd have 2.5, 3 weeks down. Even if the first 2 of those weeks were not the best, you'd have 3 weeks down of stacking up progress versus just 1 week, right? And so, yeah, that's what I'm trying to continue to live by. And I don't do it very well. I'm really, really good at talking myself into basically procrastinating under the guise of, oh, I'm just not ready yet, I still need to prepare. Because preparation will only get you so far. Experience, I think, is a much better teacher than any amount of preparation. And that's not to say that preparation is not important, right? I need to have a plan, somewhat. I need to kind of have a general idea of where I'm going and where I want to go. But people spend their whole lives preparing and never end up taking that action. And the action is what actually gets you, where you're trying to go. Don't sit on the sidelines. I don't want to sit on the sidelines. And I feel like I have done that for a lot of my adult life. When I started training and got really serious about it, I started, tracking my nutrition and eating my 6 meals a day and and tracking my lift sessions and all these things. For a couple of years, I was really unhappy, not because I didn't enjoy what I was doing, but because I would refuse to participate in other aspects of life. I wouldn't go out to eat with my family. I wouldn't have dinners with my family because I needed to eat my food, the right food, right? I would go to the beach and I would not really be happy. I'd spend the whole time kind of like being in my head and being unhappy about the way I looked because I thought, well, someday I'm going to look so much better. I can't enjoy myself right now because I haven't gotten there yet. And that was a really shitty way to live. I think a lot of people do that, but it's like that idea of, happiness is always over the next hill. And if you always wait, if you keep yourself from enjoying yourself and being happy until you reach that arbitrary goal that you have, well, by the time you get there, you're already going to have built up new goals for yourself that are now further off in the distance. And so you're going to get there and be like, okay, I can be happy now. Oh, wait, well, I still have this next thing. I'll be really happy if I just wait until I get there. And people do that their whole lives. And so it's the same exact thing. Happiness, you just sub that out for taking action, right? I'm not ready to start yet, so I'm going to wait and not start until I've studied a little bit more, or until I've learned a little bit more, or until I've developed my skills a little bit more. But then you just keep pushing that benchmark out farther and farther and farther. And so by the time you do start, you have tons of time lost that you could have been in the trenches, building experience, making mistakes, and learning. I think that's enough for now, honestly. I don't know if this is going to be useful for anybody. I always feel like I get off to a really slow start. And as I start to talk, then, the ideas start coming. But then I also have a hard time staying on track, right? There's the ADD where I get off on a tangent and can have a hard time pulling that tangent back to the original point. So I'm going to listen back to this in a couple hours. I'm just going to shut it off and cool off for a bit. Maybe I'll make some reels out of this or something. Maybe I'll upload the whole thing. I don't know. If it sucks and you spent, however long this recording has been listening to the whole thing and you are like, wow, I can't believe I just wasted my time doing that. Sorry, give me another chance, please. I promise I'll get better at this as long as I keep doing it. But just like the topic of this video, I have made the conscious decision to dive in even though I don't feel like I'm 100% necessarily ready. And I think that decision in the future is going to lead to me growing a lot more and getting a lot better at this than I would end up if I waited and kept trying to prepare, kept trying to prepare. So this is me taking my own advice. So if you listen, thank you. I appreciate you guys. If you have any comments or topics you want me to talk about, that's another hard part for me, especially in the world of content creation, is like, I don't fucking know what to talk about half the time, and don't get me wrong. If you get me talking about something, I'll talk and talk and talk, but I have a really hard time getting started because I just don't know, what people care about. I guess I can talk about whatever I care about, but even that is something I have a hard time discerning sometimes. So if you have ideas, and they don't need to be fitness related, just like today wasn't really fitness related. If you have life topics or things you would like to hear discussed or to hear my specific take on, or whatever, please put them in the comments below or message me, or however you can reach me based on however I choose to upload this. If you hate this, let me know why. I'll use that. I'll make this better. I'll make my delivery better using that criticism, whether you intend it to be constructive or not. So that's all. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope this is the first of many of these.